tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads from over 200 countries and your #1 source in after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Yeah, let the buzz begin. Another episode of the best show ever, Legends. It's legendary.
It's what?
I know. I just made that up now.
What?
I just made that up now.
That was incredible.
Well, I mean, that's why I'm here.
Oh my God.
Unfortunately, Dave Klein is not. He's out sick. People wish him well.
Send
but
him some soup.
We are here.
Which is what matters.
Exactly. I'm JB Zimmerman, joined by the lovely
Carrie Long. Hi, guys.
Fear not, we've got a lot of good stuff. This episode, Lord of War, great movie, by the way. Sidebar. Was awesome, as this show is.
It keeps building every week.
It does. I mean, I like how we sort of had more continuity with the other episode. We saw episode 2. It's sort of a continuing storyline, which is a little easier to follow. We start off with Richard again. Classic Richard trying to do it all.
I'm gonna run away.
Yeah, it reminded me of Breaking Bad, which was a little sad, but I got it.
I do like that. I like the nods. I feel that writers.
It was
other
a nice
shows,
homage, exactly.
Homage.
It's a technical term. It's vocab.
I gave a nod. That was real nice. We liked it.
But that was kind of interesting because it's a guy who really does not want to be in this position. He left his whole past behind him, didn't even tell his new family. I mean, sort of to get away. It was that. I mean, he was making poisonous gas to kill people.
Killing thousands of people.
Kind of a thing.
But I like it when people are so smart that it forces them to do very smart. Like he's in there and he's like, oopsies, I dropped something.
Right.
Like, why not? That guy doesn't know what's going on.
Exactly.
Very clever of him.
Very clever. Very Walter White of him to sort of be smart, like use everything in the situation to kind of outsmart the just generic goons that are watching him.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. Obviously, it didn't exactly work.
Yeah, no. He did not work on his ups. He wasn't able to
No,
get over
yeah,
the fence,
he's got he's an athlete, not an athlete. But yeah, so he got the family out, but fell short a little bit. Forgot about the
really
exactly.
Fall short.
He did.
He did.
That fence.
Get you every
barbed
time.
wire.
It's gonna get you.
9 times out of 10. Exactly. Barbed wire.
Yeah.
Boom, right there. But I mean, we feel for him. We see him struggling. He's a really smart guy. He all but escapes. So unfortunately, he doesn't. So they kind of move the timeline up a little bit and sort of start threatening a bit more.
Which I don't get. Like, one, they're beating this guy up. They're like, no, he's going to work through the night. And I don't know what kind of food he's necessarily eating because he got that apple and he ate it like he was...
Right. I mean, it's tough love.
I did like the apple. The evilest fruit of all, right? Wouldn't you say it's an apple?
Yeah.
Of course. Thanks, Eve.
I mean, it's very biblical.
Yeah.
If you want to go there.
Well, it's always the woman's fault. Let's just be honest, you know?
I mean, again, 9 times out of 10.
9 times out of 10, it will be a woman's fault. I just curious, like, why not does the man have a nap if he's trying to make this impressive gas to kill off all these people?
Right, exactly. I mean, you think maybe a little
sandwich.
cat nap can't postpone the timeline that much.
I guess not. He probably would have got off the fence, and that's why they aren't feeding him or letting him sleep.
Yeah, I mean,
Just in case he got
he
loose.
doesn't have any sidekick to help with. I mean, he's doing this pretty much solo.
Yes.
So, I mean, he's just a man.
He's just a man right here at AfterBuzz TV. Just
exactly.
a man.
Meanwhile, back at the FBI,
Yeah.
Crystal is sort of giving a rundown. I mean, they're doing logistical work, very important international affairs, and they sort of have that conversation again. It keeps coming up that Martin Odom is not fit for what he's doing. I mean, he's jumped back in too fast. he's sort of on edge as is, and they should not be clearing him for this type of stuff when it basically is thousands of people's lives at risk. I mean, VX gas is, I don't know if you guys have seen The Rock, but that stuff will get you.
Rock the movie or Dwayne Johnson? Because
well,
I have
both.
seen Dwayne Johnson.
Both. Specifically
Both
The Rock in the movie,
Okay.
but
Both
also
delightful.
Dwayne Johnson will get you.
He will. He is like the human form of VX gas. Strong, lethal,
If there was any
delicious.
human embodiment of VX gas, I think it would be him, actually.
Can you smell? No, actually, because we did learn that the VX is odorless.
Ooh, I like that circle you brought back.
When it's cooking.
You can't smell because
you
it's
cannot
odorless.
smell it. You can't.
But it'll kill you.
It will. Just so we're clear.
So
it
once you
will
do
kill
smell
you.
it, done. You're dead.
Wow, you're
Even
out.
if you did smell it, you'd be dead. But we digress. Back to the show. You know, they kind of have that talk about like, he's not really ready, but he's the best option.
Right.
And he is good. I mean, when he is on, he fires.
Just
like,
in and out.
he
We see that
is
throughout this
the best there
episode.
is. Granted, he's been doing it too long, and there's some internal problems that he's got to address pretty quickly, but greater good, he's the best at the time. So we cut to Dante Auerbach, which is
What a man.
just a huge boss. And I love kind of, this was just an homage episode. I feel like they want to make him very James Bondy. Even that first meeting with his old associate, it seemed exactly like Goldfinger to me. I mean,
Yeah.
it almost seemed like the same hotel. I don't know. I have to like check out where they shot it, but literally looked like the same hotel.
With the pool and all the
Exactly.
babes. Yeah, that was
and
a
sort
nice
of like
scene.
that table meeting. It was kind of like a very James Bond-esque, and sort of how they were talking about the arms deals and everything. And even continued with that. I mean, when he went to go meet Polanos, we're obviously assuming it's a guy because it's, you know, arms deals. I guess it's is that sexist of me to assume
that's
weapons
everyone
of
is.
mass destruction
Yes.
dealers are only men? I guess there
Women,
could be.
don't you guys, have you never watched, like, come on, we're crazy people, we ladies, and that's fine with us. We would make excellent arms
No, exactly.
dealers.
I mean, personally, I've never met a female arms dealer, but, you know, again,
True.
it's probably just the social circles that I hang out with are very
Maybe,
close knit.
Yeah, we could probably get one on the show. An
Exactly.
arms
I should
dealer,
probably get out more.
if they would like to come out of hiding, you know.
Exactly. Hey, if female arms dealers, write
Come on
in.
the
We
show.
will have you on the show.
You know what I did? What I am realizing, though, I'm going to be honest, the pilot episode, I criticized Crystal being the stripper, right? I was like, come on. But what I am noticing here, I mean, it is only the third episode, they're writing some nice roles for women. And of
They
course,
are,
it is a
they
trend
are.
that we're seeing a lot on TV shows now. And I'm not going to say these are the most amazing roles, but at least there's some strong women like Polanos, obviously, you know. Oh, automatically, I assumed it was a guy too, but I love the whole, you know, tete-a-tete that they had, she's sits down, he's like, oh, hello. And he had a great line. Where did he put it in there? Something about, like, I know I'm jumping ahead, but it's just such a great line about how, like, she's just so beautiful and just assuming that every man wants to sleep with her.
Right.
Like,
I mean, he
what
played that
reverse psychology.
phenomenally.
Guys
I mean,
are
I
gonna use
was
that
just
on
like,
a woman. Yeah.
taking
I will
notes.
use that
You gotta write that down.
and the bar.
But I like what you're saying when they kind of play with the traditional
Yes.
female roles and mix them up. We did not expect her to be a woman, and I didn't expect her to get up. And she sort of was like, oh, yeah, I'm so smart. And she was proving it by getting up and walking away from that whole situation.
He calls her unprofessional.
Yeah, luckily
Tisk,
he just
tisk.
turned on the charm.
Great little scene.
Yeah,
Great little scene there.
classic
Classic
Sean
Dante.
Bean.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, again, Dante is my favorite character of his, maybe globally.
Yeah.
Because he's just so awesome.
He is, and like you said, with the whole, James Bond, I would love to get, obviously Sean Bean on the show.
Oh.
But just if I've scoured all over for an interview where they were talking to him, as you're doing this, are you pulling from former roles, or are you creating your own role? What's his process as an actor, as a person, as Sean Bean? He's got, 20-some years of acting under his belt,
Right.
solid roles. So it'd be interesting to see if he's like, oh, I pop into this part because I channeled this character I've played
Exactly,
in the past.
like 0.5 character mixed with a
Yeah.
little of these characters. Probably, but I bet he mixes in some new Sean Bean wizardry in there as well. But yeah, I mean, again, this episode is clearly with Dante very similar to a James Bond type character. Obviously, he's a bit more of like an evil, bizarro James Bond, but at the same time, you know, very smooth, good with the ladies, clearly, good talker, dresses in suits, very clean cut. And, you know, he was in GoldenEye. He's been in James Bond. He was 006, I believe. So he probably, I can only assume, channeled a little bit of that Alex Trevelyan thing happening.
Let's just get you on the show, Sean. I know you're a big fan. Come on in. We've got plenty of coffee, tea, juice, water.
I will pull up a chair. You're just right here.
I too will pull up a chair. You can pick the side of the table. Right here. Me and Sean, huh? All right, maybe not. Anyway, fabulous.
Indeed, as Sean Bean is. So yeah, I mean, we basically track them. I mean, he tracks the phone. She talks to a person who she's going to sell the VX gas to. They track him. Sean Bean, again, does his thing, which is just full force enforcement, and he's great at it. And again,
boss.
I love how they do a new twist on a classic thing. I mean, that intimidation, brute force technique is so tried and true, but at the same time, they do put a freshness on it. I mean, the iron, and he like forces the guy down. And he's like, yeah, like there are more nerve endings in the lower back than the groin area. Like, the more you know. It's an educational show.
Do you know that from personal experience?
I did not know that. I actually would almost refute that. I mean, pending a Wikipedia, Google
You don't want to do your
search.
own personal research.
I mean, I would. I did not, so I can't say right now. But the research I have done would not support that argument.
Okay. If anyone out there has steamed their cojones versus their lower back, we'd like to know what your research would indicate.
Please. Yes, comment.
Please. It was nice.
Tweet
But
us.
he's like, there's no Frenchman setting on here. I just like that because there's always, you know, so just nice scenes right there.
Yeah, and it was, you know, it used everything in the scene. The guy was in a hotel room, so they used an iron. Like, that is legitimately there organically.
Right,
like, it's not like, oh yeah, let me just pull this iron out of my pocket
Yeah,
because it was in these pants.
It was in my pants. Isn't everything in your pants? Here's the thing, though. They're using everything in the room, but the peepholes. Why doesn't anyone ever use a peephole? Because later on, Polena, she also just opens the door without looking out the peephole. Just like, come on.
Right. I mean,
Oldest chick
in the
Housekeeping,
hotel
open the door.
environments, you get very comfortable. You put
I
on
always check
the
the
slippers and the robe, and you're.
He was ironing, so maybe he was so relaxed he forgot. I'm just saying, check the peephole, guys. Check the peephole.
Totally.
There's your tip.
Tip of
your
the
tip.
day. Villains.
Villains, check your peepholes.
It's villainy 101 right there. Maybe 102, because that's second
It's a little
step.
advanced.
Yeah.
A little advanced. He did have.
That's once you get in, you got to maintain people. Got to keep an eye. You got to keep an eye on it.
Literally.
Exactly.
Put your eye in the peephole.
So yeah, then we kind of switch gears a little bit back to Agent Rice. He's sort of on this
meddling.
goose chase. Like, that's the main thing. I mean, I really like this episode, and I mean, we've sort of had our minor quarrels, and I think that's mine for this episode, just because he's like so aggressive, and it's so not his place, because they're both in the FBI, but he's at a very basic cop level, and he's messing with like the top tier people who are James Bonding around town and like saving people from like terrorist attacks that we don't even know about. And it's like, why?
And he knows that. Like, it's
take their word for it. Like,
yeah, just back off.
Your
but
boss.
you
I mean, he's basically his boss's boss. Like, you would never, if that person came to your house and was like, dude, stop, or you're gonna have a huge problem. Like, maybe let it go.
Maybe just a smidge.
I
Maybe
mean, just
back
because a person who's been off the grid died, and like there might be a connection, like, you know,
Yeah.
would you risk your whole job for that?
Well, and that's what gets your wheels spinning. Like, what does Agent Rice have to prove? Like, what is his deal? Like, and he's got Gates coming to his home, and he's a direct threat. He's like, back off. You don't want to make an enemy out of me, you know? And then with the daughter coming down when they're at the house, that scene, and she's like, Daddy, I can't sleep. Which every
Wait,
kid,
what was she like?
She's like, Daddy, I can't sleep.
Okay, got
I
it.
say that too, Daddy. Anyway,
No, that
another
was
topic.
uncanny.
I was channeling the child. But you just know that, what is it, Gates? You know, and then the child there, you just wonder, like, that's a blatant threat. Like, it's not just you, Agent Rice, it's your kids.
Yeah, it was a very
it's your wife.
specific time where he was like,
But yeah,
you know, like,
it's very
dude.
subtle. I liked it.
Not in
That
my
little girl,
house.
she'll definitely not be able to sleep. Like, watch
Right.
out, buddy. Stop meddling. But I would like to know what he has to prove.
Exactly.
I would
mean,
really
it was
like to know this.
very interesting because his direct supervisor in the previous episode, it sort of like slapped him upside the head and was like, dude, cut that out.
back off.
Like, give it away. We are not following this. No good can come from it. It seems like he sort of persuaded her. He's probably a decent agent as is, or he wouldn't have gotten that far. He kind of was kind of tongue-in-cheeking his way around that conversation, like, oh, like, aren't you glad I'm
He's
such
so
a good
charming.
agent? Yes.
That was a fun scene. I like that.
Right. I
like
mean,
those
so
characters.
I think he means well, but he's definitely pushing the boundaries, and it's like, dude, like, there's got to be a line. There's got to be a line where he should realize that some things are not worth it, and especially when so many people in that kind of, like the FBI, you have to just trust. I know, like, it's an interesting thing to say because in so many movies and TV, we see the FBI screwing up horribly. And so we're kind of always on our toes, like walking on eggshells with them. But, you know, like, I feel like we have to side with everybody on, like, the Sean Bean side.
Right, but plus we know what's going on. We see further than what Agent Rice does, and so. But yeah, I totally agree. So it's nice to see this inner turmoil too at that level. So it's not just good versus bad. You've got FBI versus FBI.
Exactly, it's very murky.
Wonderful for
very
TV.
murky because I mean the first thing with Rice and sort of even with that conversation when Nelson Gates came to his house. He was the bad guy. I mean, he was overstepping. He was doing something he shouldn't have, and he was jeopardizing everything that Sean Bean is about to do, which makes me hate him. I mean, as a character, obviously, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but you know, that conversation with his supervisor sort of turned it a little bit. I mean, just to show that maybe there is something going on, and they have little breadcrumbs, so to speak. I mean, the whole Sean Bean story sort of unravels with Martin Odom and who is that? Is he a legend? Is there something bigger? Yes.
I'm
Mind
thinking
blown.
maybe Rice.
Exactly.
Business because Odom, obviously, he doesn't remember all of his legends. He has maybe Agent Rice remembers him. Like there's a past there, and that's going to slowly be leaked out. Maybe
Exactly.
We see that.
I mean,
Maybe it goes
that's
back to the
the only
academy.
thing I can think of because they did make an attempt to make Agent Rice a little bit more likable towards the end. They had that conversation and.
We see his family. He's one of us. They're revealing.
Right. Right. Plus, there's kind of some sketchiness with Gates. Like, little pieces of it. I mean, he is sort of the boss and he has to maintain the project. But at the same time, he told Martin Odom or Sean's Bean character, whoever he was at the time, you know, like, after this, we gotta have a sit down. We gotta a little chat. We gotta have coffee.
Yeah.
Talk about this. We'll decompress.
We need to talk. Grab some drinks.
So I
Happy
mean
hour.
that I think he knows more than he lets on. I think he knows that.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. And I would like to know. I also wonder too if Gates sees Odom as possibly expendable to a degree. Like he is the best
absolutely.
agent in the field, but I think Gates also knows because he is kind of a live wire. It's kind of we'll put him out there because
Right.
if we lose him. You know what I mean? And maybe there's a lot of secrets to be unveiled as well with Sean Bean's character that Gates knows about.
Right. I mean, I think in general, at that level of agent, like you have to, you know what you're signing up for. Like I could die at any moment.
Yeah, and
sign it.
I will be
and
okay
I
with
won't
this.
sue. But
I'm dead. Yeah.
I definitely, I agree. I think you're right with Nelson. I think he thinks he's extra expendable just because, you know, there's some other dirt that he's got to cover up if something goes bad. if Martin snaps too and all of a sudden knows. Yeah. I think Nelson seems like he's covering something else up.
Yeah, and I bet Nelson Gates, I bet he also knows the gentleman in the pilot episode who was killed, who was the legend that had lost identity, gave the book. I bet he knows exactly who that is.
Right.
Maybe that comes later in predictions. I'm just saying, Gates is like the Oz behind the curtain. Like, he knows everything going on. Like we've been saying, it's all going to come out eventually. But makes you wonder: is Gates a good guy or a bad guy at the end of the day?
Yes. Yes. Interesting. Yes,
Rubbing
very
up the
interesting.
chin. And anyway, guys.
Food for thought.
Food for thought.
But yeah,
Juicy episode.
Meanwhile, Martin completely loses his mind. He goes back to his home. Well, not his home anymore. His family, and he has no idea what's going on. He is asking his wife, like, how did I propose to you? I'm all mixed up. And that's the first time he's sort of admitted that it is affecting him, because even in the psychiatric treatment, he was very much so like, no, I'm fine, like, blah, 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 it was a joke. But this is the first time he admits that, I can't handle this. And his son comes up and he's like, oh, like, are we still on for this weekend?
No.
And he completely forgot, it seemed like.
Yeah, his two greatest allies, his son and his wife.
I know, it's so sad to see like that kind of a sacrifice when, he's doing so much for America. But, at the same time, he has to sacrifice his whole family. Like, his wife doesn't know who he is anymore. His son is constantly disappointed. And
he can't tell them everything all the time.
Right.
And they just have to, that's got to be a really tough lifestyle. And interesting enough, a friend of mine is an FBI agent, so I was talking to him over the weekend. I was like, come on, how legit is Legends? And he said it's actually pretty spot on. He's like, it's just not obviously that glamorous.
Right.
I was like, it's not? You don't have women in red dresses shooting guns? He says, no. But he's actually, his position is very much like Crystal's. Sally Larter's character, so Crystal. But he says it's very much like that, and he would not digress or unfold any more information, and he wouldn't come on the show.
I bet he signed a confidentiality agreement
or
two.
The show. We'll blur your face. No, but he said absolutely, there are people, you probably pass them every day on the street, you don't even know it.
That's crazy,
isn't that? So you think about your day right now. Like, think of all the people you walked by, and if you're sitting in your car listening to this, look around. They could be legends. Isn't that crazy?
Whoa.
And you'll never know, because they're saving America.
They are. Yeah, that's the craziest thing is, there could be all these crazy things happening, and we don't know. It's the old, like, Men in Black thing, where it's like all these things are happening, and the only way that normal people can do their lives is not knowing about it.
So ignorance is bliss.
True story. But yeah, it's very interesting to see Martin and sort of unravel and just the shambles that he is. It's such a tough thing to be all these different people, and like you have to make it so real that you do, I can only assume, lose what actually is real. How can you hold on to one reality when you have to believe all these different ones so intensely?
Plus, your own moral compass. Like later on when he's hooking up with Polanos, if maybe he had a great marriage with his wife, but if he had to do that because she said this is how I vet, you know what I mean? Like, you can't. Oh no, gosh, So it's got to, at the end of the day, it's got to make you crazy. Guilt, anxiety, just all of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Multiple levels. No wonder his marriage is in shambles.
Right. Especially if he has to play everything to the maximum. There can't be like any second guessing or like any hesitation.
Yeah.
Jinx.
What? Get out of my head.
Whoa.
What?
Mind mouthing right now. But exactly. He obviously takes his relationship with Polanos to the next level. If he was married still, like, that's something you'd have to do. And that's, again, something that would completely break down the relationships that you have. Like, you can't just go away for 2 years and it's just like, oh, well, I was sleeping with some arms dealers. Like,
kind of had to do it to save thousands of people.
Maybe we can just go to therapy?
Let's talk about it. No,
it's okay. It's such a devastating thing. It's unbelievable that what these people give up to be able to do that, to for nothing, basically.
For them, yeah.
Like, they are doing this all without praise.
Just doing their job.
we hear about all these like crazy things, like they get like these prestigious medals, and they don't even get to take it home because it's so top secret. It's like they're just shown it, just like, oh, this is yours. Well, I mean, you're never gonna see it again, but you earned it.
It's like that scene in Pretty Woman smacks it shut.
Yeah,
I just want to touch it. No, okay. I know.
So yeah, it's very sad to see that part of it. I mean, we think about super secret agents like James Bond. It's so awesome. Like I want to be him. But the same, like,
but really?
This is such a more real show, just like a real James Bond. Like, it's horrible.
Yeah, it's not lots of gizmos and gadgets and smoke screens. I like that they're showing the psyche, the absolute breakdown of this man, which we're going to see the rest of the season. This is just the tip of the iceberg. He did have a nice quote when he was in as Dante the Legend. He said, "I am who I am, but doesn't alleviate the guilt." And I think the guilt is like he as Martin Odom's guilt.
Oh, absolutely.
And like they said, you got to keep the stories close to the truth. And he does sprinkle and talk about his marriage in the show. You know, he's saying she deserved better. So it's pretty crazy.
Right.
And those two worlds are.
Those blurred lines are basically the worst part of it. I mean, he has to consummate the deal, of course.
What a terrible job for him. I know every guy out there's like, I
worst
would like
day
to
of
have
work
this job.
ever.
I had to bang a hot chick.
Yeah,
had to.
The things I do for my country, you know.
You're
like,
welcome. Yeah, but in reality.
But yeah, I mean, exactly.
Like
That's a total big sacrifice.
Yeah.
I mean, if this was a few years back and he was, with his wife and son, like, that's something you would totally not want to do, but you would have to. I mean, he has to believe everything so much. That's why he mixed up the stories of the proposals. Like, he creates these elaborate backstories. He had to have that story for the arms dealer, like that basically going wrong, and how fleshed out it was, that the missiles, and then he explained it this way, like one thing went wrong, so he had to explain it a different way, and it ended up working better. Like they thanked him at the end because it, environmentally, like they were from an area where it would have helped.
Yeah, and you wonder, like, how does he keep it all straight? How would someone, and supposedly, according to my friend, the FBI agent, this is legit. So how do these people keep it straight? And do they make it up on the spot? Or is it like they're working with all their techie people and then, they're creating these characters? Or is it just...
Right, I think it's,
like the movie Memento, you know what I mean? Like,
oh,
it's
yeah,
just,
absolutely.
It's got to be so fragmented.
It's so difficult. And especially for someone who has so many different storylines. It's living so many different lives.
Yeah.
It's, oh, man, I couldn't imagine doing that. Like, there's an old sort of adage, if you never lie, like, you'll never have to remember anything, because it's just the truth. I mean, whenever you lie, you have to remember that, and that's how you get caught, is it doesn't match up.
Right, and that's probably why he's getting caught up. It's his life, everything's a lie. Everything's a lie, which is why I still think his ex-wife is a legend. I called it week one.
The early prediction.
Dun, dun,
we'll
dun.
see. Let's keep tracking it.
I still stay with it. By the way, was that not some sexy music in the elevator when he was getting ready to go get freaky?
Oh, yeah. I was like, there's
that?
no way. There's no other way this could go.
Yeah.
This is happening.
I thought they were going to go play, like, Scrabble or something.
It's
Pound Town, a
we're
board
going to go play
TV?
cards upstairs. maybe Monopoly.
In my pants.
Gin rummy.
But he did make her eggs.
He did. He was a gentleman. He was a very
Dante was a gentleman.
He is. He is. He's a smooth talker, but a gentleman. And we established that even in the conversation. He is a romantic. He did the proposal on the beach. That's where he sort of thought about that. I think he was sort of stuck in that legend. I think it's sort of like method acting, or how they're painting it in the show. It seems that way, where when you step into a legend, that becomes you, and you can't snap back in and out of it as easily. I think you're kind of committed, and that becomes who you are until you can close that book. And again, it doesn't seem like for him he can close it forever.
Yeah. And I do like that they're keeping this legend going, and they're, next week, as we saw, they didn't wrap it up this week. It's going to be in next week's at least. So I like that they're not, new legend every week.
Right, exactly. It's not. I mean, I do like some conclusions
I would like
and
to start
stuff,
to see something, though. Yeah.
Which is good. I mean, we did get that. We jump into the lab assault, and which was awesome. I was just like, yeah, eating popcorn, like shoot 'em. But no, very, very classic, like 24 awesomeness.
Yeah.
Action scenes, which was good. I really like how they temper like all this psychological stuff with action. Because I mean, I love seeing people get shot up and assaults.
For sure. And
the raids are just the best.
It was nice. I did like the raid. I'm big on that stuff. I always like to watch stuff. I'm like, I don't know. They seem like they were holding guns well. I don't know.
Exactly. I mean, it's a good amount though. It's like that's there to make it an action series, but it's also so much more so grounded in everything we've been talking about, like the conversation, like that he was just having like one-on-one, but it was so intense and there's so much more at stake. Like, oh God, there's so much going on. I love this show.
It is great. I'm loving it. Loving it like McDonald's, but really loving it. Actually really loving it.
No, yeah, I mean, so Crystal does her thing. They basically clean house, kill everybody, and save Richard and his fam, which is good. Unfortunately, they're too late.
Where's the VX gas?
The VX says
it's gone.
It's
we
gone.
don't know where it is. Yeah, and not a spoiler alert. Just saying that the trailer. Just heads up, guys. The trailer for next week definitely indicates that we discover where the VX gas is.
Yes,
or
there's some bodies on the ground.
And one of those bodies, just saying it was in the trailer for next week, looked like it was Crystal.
Oh, God.
But you know how they do that. She could be having a nap. She'd be taking a break. She should be getting some sun. And they're like, throw it in, confuse the audience. So,
or it could be a stage. I mean,
or she could actually be killed off.
Exactly.
They love to kill off, main
They do.
characters.
They've done that in both previous episodes.
As long as it's not Sean Bean, we'll be happy.
Exactly. Hashtag do not kill Sean Bean.
Don't. Crystal?
Don't do it. Bad things happen to good people.
They do. I do like Crystal's character, though. I'm enjoying her.
I mean, I'm a
like
huge Ali Larter fan.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why is that?
She is beautiful.
Oh.
I don't know if you noticed, but
I didn't. I was
striking.
too caught up in her strong female lead role.
Exactly. You probably didn't even notice her physical features at all.
No. I didn't even know she was a woman.
Yeah.
I didn't notice.
She's got blonde hair. I don't know if you saw that either.
No, I don't. I have blonde hair as well, but typically I would notice that. That's
I know.
weird.
It's weird. Again, her performance.
Her performance.
She actually, I mean, for the very attractive role, I think she's actually a legitimately good actress, and she plays sort of a strong character while being, attractive. It's interesting without being like too much. She plays it very well.
She does. It's a nice balance, and they each week so far they've put in just one little line where she gets a tiny dig that you can tell she's probably hurt still from her relationship with Martin Odom, because this week it was when he put the censer on the table with Polanos. I always say that wrong. Polanos. She said something, I don't know, I wrote down, and then Maggie's like, oh, good job. And then she's like, whatever, I've seen better, or something along those lines.
Right.
Oh, he's not that good. And then she's like, you did a good job, Maggie. You're the one doing all this tech support. So they get little digs each week. So I would kind of start to like to see a little more of what happened on their relationship. See that get sticky too, but that's probably going to happen as the season progresses and everything comes together.
I know, we're only on episode 3, which is the best news ever. Like, I'm so excited for the season to just unfold. But yeah, I mean, it's great to see her sort of above that. I mean, she's a character that's kind of an equal to Sean Bean's, where they're both so smart and so good. They can kind of call each other on not having their best work or not having their best day. And the fact that she notices all that stuff kind of proves that she is, she does have feelings for him.
She's still human, right? And that's
she's just a woman. I mean, who can resist Sean Bean?
My God, we have
Let's
estrogen.
be real.
Let's be honest, people. But she is technically his boss.
True.
Which I do enjoy.
Well, yeah, that's a little office
and
romance.
she did play a stripper in the first episode. So maybe that role will be, brought back later.
We can only hope.
Yes, we can only hope. But I am digging the show.
Yeah, it's such a good show. But yeah, so we end pretty much at the enemy base. Sean Bean goes in there as Auerbach. He kind of does his thing, gets called out, and then continues doing his thing and just beats that guy senseless, pulls a gun on the main colonel, and we kind of have the intimidate, like basically turns the tables a little bit to shine the focus elsewhere, and it totally works. I mean, he Dante's character is all about aggressive moves, and it completely works. I mean, like you do anything with enough confidence, people will believe you.
Yeah, they'll buy into it. He's like, sure, go ahead, kill me, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, he has nothing to lose, and he has to know, as Martin Odom, you know, FBI man going in, that he has to know that he has no backup, he has no wire, and he has nothing. But at the same time, it's kind of freeing up because you can't be nervous about anything. You literally are only Dante in this moment.
Exactly. He is Dante. He's become him. I mean, it makes sense that everything else is kind of, in his personal life, become Dante, even when he doesn't want to, like, for better or for worse. Because in that moment, like, he has nothing...
He's got nothing
to hide.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, the only way that it works.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he takes that to the extreme when they force him to do this test, like, of the VX gas, and he's got to literally torture someone. I mean, that was such a...
kills him, right? Like, the guy dies?
I mean,
the VX gas will kill him?
We didn't see him die, but like, I can only assume VX gas on your eyeball would,
it killed the mouse.
Would kill you.
So if it can kill a mouse... It can kill a very large
because I
one.
mean we're very similar.
I'm much like.
But no, I mean it's a very poisonous substance.
Yeah.
I guess it was more of a liquid form at that stage, but you know, it's such a crazy. Back to the psychological part of it, so crazy. I mean, it's one thing like shooting bad guys when they're trying to kill you. I mean, obviously it's bad, but if they're trying to kill you, it's like more of a self-defense thing. Like this is him actively participating in a torture to death scene.
And he has a moment of where he's like, hold up, what did he do? And the guy's like, don't worry about it.
Right. I mean,
what a great way to turn the tables. Sure, point a gun in my face, whatever, that's been done. But how about putting this goop in this guy's eye?
And it just shows the lengths that you guys have to go. I mean, these agents literally cannot break their cover for anything. I mean, we say greater good, but like...
In that moment, though, is that really what you're thinking? I have to do this for America. Or are you just thinking, oh, hell, I don't want to get killed. I don't want my family to get killed.
Well, it's both. I mean, it's his life is on the line. Plus, I mean, he's doing everything just because he needs to find and save all these, like, the danger of the VX gas, like, out there. But, you know, it's just such an insane moment. It's like, how far would you actually go? I mean, would you...
I had to kill him. I mean, that's insane. And and then you wonder, you know, what if they were like, here, use this potato peeler and peel off the skin from his eye? You know, it's like what he can't stop at anything. Like there's nothing he can say no to. And he couldn't even talk his way out of it. And he tried to. He tried to be very, you know, finessing and very
Yeah, he's like, I'm not going to do your dirty work. Like, screw you.
And for a moment, I was like, oh, come on. I was like, make him still do it. And then they did. And I was watching with my hand, like, in front of the TV. I did. I was like, no, I can't. Wait, it's so bad. I'll just beat it through my fingers. But, yeah, it's nice. I want to see them push that further and harder all season.
Right. No,
will he be
I completely agree. I think that those moments really turn the legend into past where you're like there is that control of it being a legend. I think that when you're forced to make those decisions where it like goes against everything you believe, it becomes, you know, a part of you that you can't erase.
Absolutely. And that's probably the legends that he can't shake more are the ones that he's had to do more horrific things, things that go against his moral fiber. Those are the ones that are embodying him and starting to cause him this inner turmoil.
Absolutely.
So, and that's probably why Martin Odom, the ultimate legend, is a composite of all these other legends. And that's why that one, he can't even figure out if it's real or not. Where the others, he knows, you know, it's the hardest to shake because it is all of these.
Exactly. Or, I mean, like you were mentioning Memento, like maybe he invented Martin Odom because who he was in the past was like too crazy to deal with. Like maybe he did some stuff that was so horrific that he literally could not continue as a human being without, like, in that space.
Yeah. There's a term for that where, you know, something horrific happens to people and the brain will literally turn it off and in the moment, and the human completely forgets about it till another event triggers it years later. So what if there'll be an event in this season that triggers something, he starts to think, oh, this is another legend, but then he starts to realize this might be who I really am.
Right.
Or maybe Martin Odom isn't even a legend. Plus, they didn't really do anything with the book this week.
They didn't.
Which I kind of like. It's
I mean,
it's
nice how they kind of give us pieces. Like it's like a puzzle that we're kind of putting together. Like we got some book pieces last week. Now we get some more of his character, and a little bit like from his home life. Oh man, I love this show so much.
I am sorry we're geeking out, guys.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I mean, after the pilot, I was like, nah, I like it. But then last week, I was like, I like it. Now I'm in heavy, I'm in mad crush phase.
Ooh.
I might fall in love.
It's settling in. The butterflies.
I'm kind of nervous. Oh my
It's
God.
Legends Day.
I was excited. I was very excited. I was like, yeah, Legends is on tonight, which was, Wednesday.
Of course.
It's good.
But yeah, an awesome show, and it's doing quite well. I think we have, a little bit of news now. We had that huge breakout from the pilot. People really caught on like wildfire. I think word of mouth really helps the show. The fact they have it on demand as well, like people can kind of watch it anytime.
And that says something too. If it just remember back in the olden days, like the 90s, when you had to sit down and watch the show, and now for someone to actually take time out of their day when it's benefiting their schedule to still go and watch a show. Think how much stuff people have going on, but they still are like, no, I need to watch my Legends. So it's just nice that people are watching it TV, but like you said, digital on demand, and they're watching it later and they're watching it over again. So that says something for the show, for the writers, for TNT.
Yeah, it really is a great age for TV, and I think that's why it's doing so well right now.
Scripted TV.
Especially TNT. TNT is killing it.
They know drama.
They do.
They do.
They do. You can hashtag that to the bank.
Kabam.
But they, like all these shows, you can just watch on your own time, and that's the best part about it. You don't have to be home like at a certain time. You kind of do it whenever it works out for you, and for things like this where it's like so intense, I wish we had that opportunity, because waiting a week is like so.
Yeah, like on Netflix,
so
they
tough.
just dump the entire season, and then you binge watch, or you force yourself to.
Right.
Oh no, I'm going to pace myself, which never works.
True. But at the same time, I'm okay with it with this, because it is so good. Like there's so many things that I think about during the week.
You're like, oh, what about this?
It
what about that?
marinates.
Does it?
It does.
It marinates. Yeah. What do you think will marinate this week?
Shall we go into predictions?
Are we going right to predictions?
Oh,
okay.
Let's dive right in.
Let's do it.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV
So scary and hard today.
Interesting, because we had an episode that kind of fed this episode into Dante, and we at least concluded the Richard timeline. Mm-hmm. We're probably not going to get any more VX Gas creation, but I think now we're going to be dealing with tracking it down. My guess is we'll still see a little bit of Dante, which is good, because he's my favorite Sean Bean character. And he's a boss, so there's that. But yeah, I think that maybe they won't set off the big one, but there will be maybe a smaller leak or some type of catastrophe that's not contained fully, and there is a slight disaster, which sort of speeds up the timeline of keeping Martin in there, because there's that kind of threat of the big FBI dude, CEO or whatever his role is.
Oh yeah,
that was
Mr.
like kind of
Bowtie.
Yes, Mr. Bowtie.
Let's put him in a bow tie.
It's very authoritative.
Yeah, it's very Masters of Sex. If anybody watched that show on Showtime, the little tiny bow tie. Anyway,
Well, it's
the
very
bow tie is
classy,
coming back.
classy
It's coming
move.
back.
Classy move.
Anyways.
But yeah, he was threatening kind of taking over, and I think now that there was that outbreak, it will maybe help the Martin team and I guess it's Nelson's team. Martin's more just the star QB.
Yeah, he's just taking all the credit.
True. Well, he's doing the heavy lifting.
That's true. He is.
He's literally putting his life on the line. So yeah, he's torturing people for his country. So he's VX gassing people in the eyes for America.
How patriotic.
But yeah, no, it's gonna be a great episode. Hopefully, Crystal doesn't die.
I hope not. I think it's just a thing they're doing. She was on the ground. It was in. So I think they're just.
Maybe
they're just doing
taking
it. We're on to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't kill her off. We like her.
Yeah. Hashtag don't kill.
Hashtag
Allie
don't
Larter
kill Allie.
either.
Yeah. Either. You gotta put either in there too.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah. I'm stoked for next week. I really I wish it was right now. I
do
wish
too.
we
I
could
gotta
just
say,
fast
though,
forward time.
I'm kind of wondering if Dante, though, is going to F up next week and almost blow the cover.
I don't know. I don't think I think Dante's going to do his thing, but I will put this out there. I think Rice is going to throw a
Maybe
wrench
force
in
Dante
the
to-
cogs of the machine and slow things down a little bit. And maybe that's why everything goes haywire with the gas and we have a mishap.
It's Rice's fault.
We'll have to wait and see. Tune in next week, guys. We'll see you then.
But where can we find you?
Where can they find you? Good call. I almost forgot about that.
Voice.
From the heavens.
What a dreamy voice he has.
No, yeah. Carrie, where can they find you?
Hey, you guys can find me. I love Twitter, so hit me up on Twitter at Comedia Carrie. That's COMEDIACARRIE. You can also check me out on the Under the Dome after show. So we only have a few weeks left on that show, so check it out.
Awesome, absolutely. Well, you guys can find me at JB_Zimmerman on Twitter and Instagram. Also, please, if you guys like the show, rate it on iTunes and comment on YouTube. We love to hear from you guys. Great show, as we are Clear fans.
Geeking out.
So
Geeking out.
hopefully you guys are too. We'd love to hear from you.
All right, thanks, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.